Right guys, Mark Crossfield here. We've got Steve Buzza answering a few questions through the AskGolfGuru app. This is the Q&A app, not the golf app. Two separate apps, two separate channels, giving some guys. So Richard's asking a question here about adding loft to impact, hitting down and hitting up, those kind of things. Let's give him some help. Let's get stuck in. Right, Steve, I like this question. Richard asked, my struggle is fat shots and adding loft. So if I concentrate solely on three-quarter swings, getting the handle leading the head at impact, de-lofting, does this guarantee a ball first contact, or is the angle of attack a separate question? So he is, if I swap clubs with you there, in theory he is saying he adds loft, doesn't he? And he hits the ground first because he's fatting it. Okay. So he's saying if he does three-quarter swings, that has nothing to do with anything really, but that's just where he feels more comfortable.
Yeah, it probably feels like he can perform the movement better.
So because all he's doing is taking speed off. Because we can all perform tasks, but in sport, it's about can you perform the task at a very fast speed. You know, I can get lots of people to do any kind of swing, but you've got to bring it down to such an unreasonable speed. They can't manage that speed because it's so slow, they've got no coordination, and obviously doesn't create the distance. So he's saying three-quarter swing, like you say, that's probably just managing the speed so he can control it. It's three-quarter swing per se is not going to make you add loft, take loft off, handle forward, handle back in anyway at all. He's saying if he leads the handle forwards, will that make him hit down, so ball first and ground second? Well, it won't. It can do. It would for me. I mean, it makes sense to me. The question is, will it guarantee? Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, I can, I can put the handle forwards, and as I come in, pull the handle up, I can de-loft and hit up, which should make me hit the ground first. So I can, if I step in there, actually, if I pop you that side, I can get the handle forwards and drag it up. It's quite an extreme move, but I can do that. I mean, if you're adding loft, what I do for people who add loft and hit the ground first, and it works so well, it's so simple, is I do what I do for lots of people, which is I change their launch window. Think about this. If I suspended your favourite belonging, let's say it's a car this far off the ground here, so your favourite car that you've worked so hard to pay for is here, and I asked you to hit a 5-iron here, so your follow through won't hit the car, but your ball launch will hit it. How do you reckon they're going to hit that ball? They are going to generally, if they don't want to whack their car, hit down and punch that ball down through that lower new window that I've put in front of them. So they fix the two issues by me setting a different agenda in their launch. And I think you find that as well, don't you? No, certainly, and we're not saying that this movement doesn't help. Yeah. And you might produce that movement, but we're actually putting the task more into the flight that we're trying to... Well, what happens, well, I always find that people react more to launch window than they do to try and hit certain positions. Because often, and we've said this in other videos, certain positions don't mean anything because you've got such extreme thoughts for them to get into those positions that they can't actually get there. Where if you just say, don't put a dent in your nice new car, well, that makes sense. Yeah, well, how do I do that? Well, I don't want you to change ball position. Well, that makes it harder. So maybe you should hit the ball this way. And sometimes they don't even say that, they just work it out themselves. I've never actually suspended a car there yet, but sometimes I wish I could. Hit it under that. But it's that launch window I think will change them. Just having the handle forwards for me would make me hit more down, but it doesn't always. I mean, I hit punches into the wind, so ball back, handle forwards, and I don't hit down. So I'll try and take next to no divot here. I hit like a gentle, pitchy one, and there's just literally no spin on that because I'm changing that spin loft. I'm taking the loft off and hitting quite level with the ground. So bringing the loft and the angle of attack together, knocking that spin loft right down, just taking all the spin off it. And I'll use that into the wind a lot on courses. And like, we've got to be quite careful as coaches, haven't we, that if we see something we just assume A equals B, and sometimes that formula isn't actually there. And it doesn't always work for the same person, does it? First thing I learned, which was really interesting when I first started teaching with launch monitors ages ago, is people will hit down a lot with their driver, and you want them to hit up if they want to maximise distance, say, okay? And I would look at pictures of them on camera, which is where I've always taught from, and they're back here. And I'm thinking, that's saying it's hitting down. And he's leaning back. Oh God, I've got no answers out. And then I worked it out over time, and I'd go away from that lesson and think, oh, I've not really helped that guy. I'm going to work out how he's doing that and get my head around it. And all the person was doing, leaning back, but the handle was forward. So what happens is the club was bottoming out after the ball. So it wasn't to do with his body, it was to do with where the handle was on that occasion, which ties back into his question. So on that instance, yes, it would work.
Yeah.
You know, if you got the handle forwards, yes, it made that person hit down, but it doesn't always for everyone. I would really strongly advise playing with that launch window. I have massive success with that. Really.
Well, that's what we're trying to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. End of the day is where that ball goes, so that contact and where that ball flies. So you should have a real agenda of where you want that ball to start. And that's what I'm doing here when I'm playing. I'm picking launch windows, like I want to go around that seagull, all those, so I'm kind of visualising all those things and then trying to make that happen.
We just need a disclaimer, don't use your cuff.
Yeah, I don't mind. Steve said it, didn't he? No, I think I said it. Anyway, thanks Steve, thanks for the question, hope that helps, and we'll speak to you soon. So if you like what's going on here, don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel, also thumbs up the video, post comments, love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show, get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.